Question 16 of this exercise says, in an equilateral triangle, prove that 3 times the square of one side is equal to 4 times the square of one of its altitudes. So let's draw a figure to help us solve this problem. So here's an equilateral triangle ABC that I have drawn. And let's also draw one altitude of this equilateral triangle. So let's draw the altitude from A to BC. Like this. Okay, so let's take the foot of the perpendicular as D. So AD is perpendicular to BC. So we have to show that 3 times the square of one side. So let's take that one side to be AB. We can take any of the 3 sides, but let's take it to be AB. We have to show that 3 times AB square is equal to 4 times the square of one of its altitudes. So let's take the altitude to be AD. So 4 times the square of altitude would be 4AD square. So what we really have to show or to prove is that 3 times AB square is equal to 4 times AD square. Okay, and because triangle ABC is an equilateral triangle, the altitude AD will bisect the side BC, and this means that BD will be half of BC. So we'll make use of this thing in our proof. BD will be half of BC. So here's what we are going to do now. We are going to apply the Pythagoras theorem in triangle ABD. So ABD, I'm going to highlight this triangle. So we are going to apply the Pythagoras theorem to this triangle because we want to relate the side AB with the side with the altitude AD. So let's do that now. So in triangle ABD, by making use of the Pythagoras theorem, we will have AB square, the square of the hypotenuse, will be AD square, the square of the altitude, plus BD square. Okay, now on the right side we write it as AD square plus BD square. Instead of BD, let's write BD as half of BC because we saw earlier that BD is half of BC. So we write this as half of BC whole square. Okay, and now we can write this as AD square plus 1/4 of BC square. And now let's make use of the fact that BC is equal to AB because the triangle ABC is equilateral. So instead of BC, we are going to write AB so that we find a relationship between AB and AD. Okay, so because BC is equal to AD, we are now going to write BC is equal to AB, not AD. We are now going to write AB instead of BC. So this will give us AB square is equal to AD square plus 1/4 of AB square. Okay, and now what should we do? So we should take this term 1/4 of AB square and bring it to the left side, subtract it from AB square. So this will give us on the left side AB square minus 1/4 of AB square. So that will be 3/4 of AB square on the left side, and on the right side we will have AD square. And now we can simply cross multiply this 4 on the right side, and that will give us 3 times AB square is equal to 4 times AD square. And this is what we had to prove. 3 times the square of a side is equal to 4 times the square of an altitude. So this completes our proof for question number 16. To learn more about how QMath can help you crack school and board exams, explore QMath Leap, a live online classroom program run by highly experienced and committed teachers.